Joining us now is Rivka Holzer with a very interesting story of why she became a wedding planner. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
So I was really excited to meet you. Jenna told me a lot about you. So congratulations on your wonderful, booming, and thriving business.
Thank you.
But you took kind of like a challenge and turned it into something wonderful for yourself.
I did.
Okay, tell us what happened.
So I was engaged previously. I like to say 2.5 times because the first time was unofficial, but we had booked a hall and he had bought a ring. And I was engaged twice after that, and I canceled all 3 weddings and became a wedding planner through that process. So I sort of took the stress that I had planning 3 of my own weddings. I realized just how stressful that is on the bride, and I decided that I didn't want anyone else to have to go through that pain. So I became a wedding planner.
Now, do you specialize only in weddings for people of the Jewish faith?
Right now, yes. I'm
Okay.
doing mostly Jewish weddings. I do have one non-Jewish wedding coming up, so that's very exciting. But for the most part, we're doing Jewish weddings.
Wonderful. Now, a lot goes into that because there's certain traditions, right?
Yes.
It's a huppah. So tell
That's
us,
right.
what makes a Jewish ceremony a Jewish ceremony?
Absolutely. So first things first, in terms of Orthodox Jewish ceremonies, which is sort of my specialty, we start off with cocktail hour, which is pretty different from secular weddings. So we start off with cocktail hour. Very often in Ashkenaz culture, there's a bedekin, and so that's where the groom veils the bride in a beautiful ceremony. And then we go into ceremony, the chuppah, and then we have reception after that. So there's very often separate dancing for men and women at the beginning, and then very often there will be mixed dancing with everyone at the end.
And what about the breaking of the glass?
The breaking of the glass, yes.
Okay.
So that takes place during the ceremony. That signifies, actually, it's sort of a reminder to the Jewish people that our temple was destroyed. And so every time that there's a celebration, we always want to remember that there is a temple and it was destroyed, and so that's what the breaking of the glass signifies.
Lovely. When someone of the Jewish faith comes to you, right, what is the first step in making sure that they make it to the altar and then hopefully to the honeymoon, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel so, I mean, we're making light of it, and that sometimes that's the best thing to do, is just to make light of something, a challenge, and just,
Absolutely.
whatever, just let it go, right? But what are some of the first steps that they need to take?
Well, I would say in terms of the couple themselves, what I always tell people is you guys have to be a team.
Okay.
So the couple really has to come together and decide what they want, because very often in Jewish weddings, both sets of parents are very involved in the wedding planning process.
It's the parents, and you're just so happy to be the bride.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And so very often that adds to the stress of the planning process. So I always tell brides and grooms that the most important thing is that they are a couple and a team, and it's sort of them against the world. And then, it just is the planning process itself. You book the hall, you book the caterer, you book all your vendors, and you have a gorgeous wedding.
Beautiful. Budget.
Budget. Ooh.
Now, do both the groom's parents and the bride's parents also chip in during a Jewish wedding?
Yes.
And sometimes the couple themselves?
Absolutely.
Like, what are the rules?
Totally varies depending on the couple.
Okay.
Most commonly, both sets of parents are chipping in to pay for the wedding. I definitely have couples where the bride's parents are paying for the entire wedding, like in a more traditional sense. And I definitely have couples where they're splitting things equal down the middle, or they're splitting certain parts of the wedding aspect. They're paying for the hall and the caterer, and the other side is paying for the flowers and the band, etc., photographer.
What about invitations?
Invitations, what about them?
Okay. Is there like a standard way? Is it like white with like the black raised lettering?
People are getting
like
so creative this
now?
way.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
so creative. And I will say, paperless post or evites are becoming extremely popular.
Okay, drop the card. I'm sorry, but I don't know. For me, if I'm invited to a wedding and I'm expected to like drop a few $100s,
Yeah.
right? For me, and maybe it's because I'm an artist, right, or whatever, but I love to get an old-fashioned invitation.
Totally.
I think it sets the tone.
It's definitely not extinct.
Okay.
But I will say I'm seeing where when couples are more on a budget, they're going for the Evite route.
Okay.
And when it's a luxury wedding, we are going all out on male invitations.
Okay, so it just depends.
So it kind of has just
And
divided.
I do believe in save a tree, but if you're going to cut down a tree, then you plant a tree, right? I don't know. I'm like,
I don't think we're saving the planet with paper invitations
no.
or not.
You're not hurting it too much with paper invitations. Okay, so it's okay and appropriate. If you want to be in the digital age, fine. Digital's
Absolutely.
okay.
And it does often make things a little bit simpler on the couple when they're doing seating
Right.
and they're collecting
That's true.
RSVPs.
Because then they're like, okay, click.
So much easier.
Right? They can even use AI.
Exactly.
Okay, put all the ants at one table and all the.
You know what?
Yes.
I use AI for everything. I didn't even think about doing that. That's
didn't?
great. No, I love that.
Well, you're welcome. Here, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'll give you commission on that one.
2%. Wait, no, 13%. There you go. So I appreciate the effort and the time that you put in. Can you tell me like one testimonial that you got that still touches your heart? What was the wedding that somebody just said, "Woo, Rivka, you got it right"?
I think my favorite is when it's very often I bond with the mother of the bride.
Okay.
So I had one client where the mother of the bride was so anxious, so anxious. And even during the wedding day itself, very often the mothers of the bride, the wedding day itself, they're like calm and they're sort of like in a different world. And this mother of the bride, she couldn't let go. She was like, what about the flowers? What about I was like, so I put my hand on her shoulder and I was like, you need to let me do my job. That's
Wow.
why you hired me. And I need you to do your job and I need you to be here for your daughter. And she's like, I'm here for my daughter. And her daughter looked at her and she goes, Mom, you're not.
Wow.
And that, after the wedding, that mother was like so grateful that I was there to really step in and be able to not just take care of everything, but really be there for her in that emotional moment. And that's
why
something
you
I'll
do
never.
what you
That's
do.
exactly why I do what I do.
I get it. Thank you so much. Good luck on your wedding. That's not a Jewish wedding, but like continued success to you and
Thank
happiness in your
you.
journeys. And hopefully, knock on wood, love finds its way to you this year.
Please, God.
Yes, there you go. I'm going to say good things for you tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy journeys to you. You look lovely. It was
Thank
so
you
nice
so
to have
much.
you
It
with
was
us.
so nice meeting you.
You have a good personality.
Oh, I
vivacious
appreciate it.
and amazing energy. Stay tuned for more. We've been living it up right here. If you're looking for a wedding, especially if you happen to be Jewish, please give her a call and be well.